What's up, guys? It's Jim with Awaken TCG. Today, bringing you our final locals video for OP05. For our last poll of OP05, Mr. Blue Yellow Queen was our winner. A deck I have been playing just a bit throughout OP05, mostly because I just wanted to get back into him towards the latter half because I'm very excited for his deck in OP06. I think it's one of the best decks he's had since his release with the new additions of Sanji and all that. But even though OP06 is pretty much at our doorstep, this is an all OP05 video, so let's try to keep on track there, even though I'm very excited for OP06. But yeah, this leader was a lot of fun in OP05. I didn't have crazy success with him, and you're going to see I didn't have actually crazy success with him in locals this week either. But definitely some good games and a lot of fun and a really, really interesting leader that provides one of the most unique play styles in the game. So without further ado, let's just go over this deck list. First up here, we have one of the most important cards by far in this deck. It's going to be 3-cost Doflamingo. Arranges the top 5 cards of your deck. Very, very necessary to filter out big bodies if you want to draw them later. If I have, say, 2 brick big bodies in hand and I play this guy on 3, I see 2 more brick big bodies on the top 5 of my deck. I'm going to choose to put those towards the bottom of those 5 so I can draw them later. Really helping you not have these terrible hands, as well as helping you put triggers with your leader effect on your life that you know are there. So that's the main use for it, but playing it early is also really, really good just to avoid having hands that you cannot put down to a low amount of cards. Next up here, we play this guy for the same exact reason as Doflamingo, except he is a little bit bigger, and he also works perfectly on the going first curve, which I prefer with Queen. Obviously, I can kind of do either first or second with this guy, but if I had to choose, I would want to go first. But yeah, X-Drake, I didn't talk about him much there. Pretty much just he's bigger Doflamingo. Organized top 5. If you didn't see this guy on 3, right, you've got him on 5. So just kind of a great card when he was introduced in OP05 and fit perfectly into this deck because the only other top deck rearrange you could really run back last set was Perona, who is great and all, but, you know, not very consistent. So glad we can have 8 of these top deckers in our deck. And now let's get into the rest of our blockers. This deck runs a lot of blockers because we don't run a lot of counter. So we need a way to basically deal with these big swings, especially when we're low on life. So first up here, we have Sanji. Sanji, just a solid 4/5 blocker that we can play off of life when we see it, or just play on curve if we don't have anything else to play. But mainly good for really bricked up hands because you can actually play this guy on the board while also discarding a card from hand that you don't want in there. So really fantastic, and I love him for that reason. Next up here, we've got 3 Brule trigger blockers, and we've got, sorry, did I say 3? I'm at 4. And also 4 Boa Hancock trigger blockers. So if you haven't seen Queen before, guys, these cards are basically really great in this deck because we continuously put in our life. And if we get these off of life, it's basically in some scenarios a beige if they cannot remove it. Just a free blocker that's going to be really annoying, and avoid having more cards in hand because this card does not go to hand, it just goes right to board, which is really, really good. So because sometimes when we get the Sanji, we don't really want to discard a card in our hand, so these are definitely better in that scenario. So really good cards in this deck, but don't know if I'm going to run them next set. They're just not crazy impactful, and there's a lot of better cards, I think, coming out. Next up here, let's get into our 2Ks. First up here, we've got a great 2K for this deck that just makes a lot of sense. It's going to be 1-cost Kaya. So a 2K counter, obviously, we got to run our 2Ks. This one, though, if we do need to play it out, is fantastic. If you have a terrible hand that just needs to be cycled out, for 1 Dawn, you're cycling out 2 cards, right? It is absolutely great, and I play her more often than not when I have bad hands. So definitely comes in handy a lot. And last up here, we only run 8 2Ks. We just have the Beige. And a deck that's looking to get multiple triggers per game, Beige is an absolute no-brainer. We do not have a lot of counter power, so being able to Beige one of their big bodies and not having to deal with that swing whatsoever is just massive and has won me multiple games. No doubt there. And next up here, let's get into our large big boys. First up here, we've got 3 of Jonathan Giant. This guy is awesome. I don't know if I'm going to be running him this set, but I had a next set, but I had a lot of fun running him this set. He's literally an 8-10 vanilla, which is kind of just funny. I think that's one of the biggest vanillas in the entire game. But obviously just works on that perfect 8 Dawn cost line, which works with our leader effect. He doesn't do anything on play. He's just a vanilla, but he's actually the biggest body in our deck, which is great. Also, not to mention, he has counter, which is why I like running him, because I need to draw into 8 costs or more, but sometimes if I have too many of them in hand, it can become a real problem. So having access to this guy who can actually I can get rid of him if I have too many big costs in hand is really, really good. And next up here, we've got 2 of Katakuri. So Katakuri, I think everybody knows how good Katakuri is by now. Just a great, great card, super flexible, can heal you, can act as removal, perfect 8 Dawn stat line, just works great in this deck, especially in matchups where you kind of want to starve your opponent. You can pretty much put them to like a high life total with this guy and then play a Yamato when our life totals are really, really high and get rid of something really, really big. Next up here, we've got 3 of Dracul Mihawk. Mihawk is awesome. There's a lot of great targets for this guy. You play against Sakazuki, you get a bottom deck Borsellino. You play against NL, you get a bottom deck their 7 cost NL. You play against Uta, you get a bottom deck their 7 cost Luffy. So covers all of the meta decks right now pretty much. There's a perfect target in each of them. And even if you don't get your perfect target, you know, bottom decking like a 5 or a 6 is just as good. So really great card and would not run any less than 3 at this moment in time. And last but not least, our best big body by far is going to be our 9 cost Yamato. Just allowing you another access to heal is really, really good in this leader. If you have really low cards in hand and you are scared of dying next turn, there are scenarios where you can play her, heal to 1, swing with Queen, heal to 2, double heal in 1 turn while removing something and developing a big body. It's really, really strong. And she's definitely the strongest big body we have in this deck. And last up here, let's get into our events. Queen runs a lot of removal because we do not like cards on board because we cannot deal with a ton of swings. So I'm going to run these 3,000 Worlds. They are a very, very good card to get rid of those pesky 5 drops that a lot of decks are running. Also on trigger, going to bottom deck a 3, which is really good. So a trigger I do like to see. And next up here, a card we pretty much run just for the trigger. It's going to be 4 of Sobbles. Sobbles, I'm sure a card some of you have probably never seen, so I'm going to read it for you. It is going to be a 4 cost main event. Return 1 character with a cost of 7 or less to its owner's hand. And then on trigger, it's just going to activate that main. So on trigger, you can send a 7 or less back to hand, which is really insane and comes in handy a lot of the time. Mainly running this card for the trigger, but it's also extra removal in a pinch, which is not bad. And last but not least, we have 4 of Red Rock. Mainly running this because the bottom of 4 on trigger is very good, and there's a lot of good targets for this as well. If we play against yellow, you can bottom deck their big moms. Play against NL, you can bottom deck any of their 9 drop, 8 drop, whatever you want. Basically any big body, this is just an ultimate removal for, and you can also stack it on the top of the deck to bottom deck those 4 or lesses in decks like Sakazuki, which run a ton of those. So being able to bottom deck a 4 or less on trigger is the main reason I have this as a 4. But you're going to see in one of these games today, me running 4 of these definitely kind of bites me in the ass. But anyway, that is going to be our deck list, guys. This is the deck I ended up ending on with OP05. Really like this list and really enjoy Queen as a leader. But again, really looking forward to him in OP06. So we'll definitely be doing a locals video on that, but let's go ahead and get into the gameplay for today. Getting into our first game here, we are going to be going against Yellow Katakuri, which in my opinion is one of Queen's worst matchups, as a Big Mom just kind of plays around your plan to have infinite life. So definitely a problem there, but we do have red rocks, so there are ways to stall and play around it. But we are going to definitely have to draw well in this matchup, considering we did lose the dice roll and we did get put on first. In this matchup, I do like choosing second. So opponent going to be going on 2, does not have anything to play, which is great for us. Now on 3 Dawn, we're going to go ahead and swing a 5 at leader. Katakuri going to choose to take, thankfully no trigger as we play the 3-cost Doflamingo. Looking at our top 5 and going to organize that as we like. Trying to remember what I saw in this top 5. I think I saw a couple red rocks that I was placing in the deck for later, as I wanted to draw it the turn he would have played 10 Mom. So I think I set that one up for sure. And then I think I saw maybe a Yamato and something else. So just putting those, preparing our later turns. Katakuri now on 4 Dawn, going to do 1 on leader, swing 7. Look at his own life and choose to put that to the bottom. So we are thinking Beige or Maru is what Katakuri players usually put to the bottom. And then we're just going to go ahead and block that 7 before our Doflamingo can be KO'd by a Gadatsu. Now on 5 Dawn, we're going to put 1 on lead and swing 6 and do a quick 2K check, as it looks like he's going to go ahead and give us that. Oh no, he's actually going to choose to take. Definitely looking for a trigger to get a body on board early here. And then we're just going to go ahead and 3,000 Worlds that Perospero to the bottom, denying him the draw from that on KO effect. Katakuri now on 6 Dawn. Going to put 2 on leader and swing 8. Going to look at that top life and put it to the bottom again. So definitely seeing some decent triggers here, I would assume. And then going to play that 4-cost Sanji with a ton of cards in hand for sure. I think that is 8 cards in hand. So going to use the Sobbles, putting the Sanji back to hand, and then we'll just swing 8 at lead, saying you need to give us 2 2Ks if you do not want to take this hit. And going to choose to take it actually, and no trigger once again. So just kind of playing this removal game plan at the moment. Waiting for our later Dawn turns to play these big bodies and get rid of those Big Moms if we can. Katakuri now on 8, so gonna 8-cost Katakuri here, not really gonna do anything as we have not developed much. So he's gonna do 4 on lead, swing a lot. Definitely not gonna counter out of that. And then he's gonna replay that Sanji that we ended up setting back to hand. So now on 9 right now, gonna play that Mihawk, just bottom deck the Sanji he just played. And going to swing 5 to lead. Looks like he's going to probably give us that 2K out of hand, as he actually knows what that life is right now, and I'm pretty sure he does not want to activate that trigger just yet, whether it is a Beige or an Amaru. Yeah, he's going to go ahead and choose to give us the 2K for the 5K swing. And now on 10 Dawn, you're playing Katakuri. There's really not much to think about if you have it in hand. There it is. It is the 10-cost Mom. Throwing it down and unfortunately going to trash a Brule from life, so denying us that trigger there, which is always bad. We're going to go ahead and swing 9 with Mihawk. He's actually going to trigger out Cracker, which is not great for us as we really didn't want another body on board right now. So we're going to put 4 on leader, swing 9. He's going to have to take that one as well. And then we're going to go ahead and do the red rock that we actually just drew this turn, I'm pretty sure, and then get rid of that Big Mom. So 3-cost Doflamingo showing you why he's a very strong card to drop early, because I can know if I have the answers and I can make sure I draw it exactly when I need it. So I'm going to swing 5 here, expecting a Big Mom I'm actually going to take, but he actually ends up playing the Yamato, which is interesting, and going up to 2. So now with a Mihawk and a Boa on board, we're not in a terrible spot, but we definitely need to activate leader effect this turn if we do not want to have a chance of dying. So gonna drop that Kaya here, as we really needed to get cards at hand at this moment in time. And going to choose to discard 1 John Giant and another 3-cost bow in hand. Those really don't do much in hand, just good as they have counter. So we're going to go ahead and red rock the Yamato again, and then we're going to swing 8 lead and heal 1. So with no rush in Katakuri's side, we have nothing to worry about right now, at least. He's going to swing 5 lead, expecting a 10 mom. We're going to definitely choose to take that one. No trigger there. And now, I think you always just drop 10 mom here. I don't think there's a reason to play something like Yamato. He's actually going to choose to go wide, it seems, playing the Pero and the 7 mom, which is not bad at all. But obviously that 7 mom effect, we can actually choose to trash one of our life cards, and since we have none, it does not make a difference. Now back on us on Tendon. Looks like we have that Yamato in hand, so definitely have a guaranteed decent heal here. So we're going to actually choose to do the 3000 Worlds, probably just wanting to get cards on hand. Playing the Sanji and swinging 7 to heal back to 1. Unfortunately, he's going to trigger that Thunderbolt. I think he actually put that one there earlier and going to KO our Sanji. Now going 9, he's actually going to go down to 1. So in a rough spot for him here if he does not have the answers. Cannot use Thunderbolt as he has no life, so he cannot get rid of that blocker. The only answer is Amaru, but he actually does have one in hand, but he's actually not going to go for it this turn. And just choose to drop that 10 mom and get rid of that life, playing safe if that were a Beige or anything like that. Now back to us, definitely a problematic board that we really need to deal with, or we are in hot water. We could technically go for game this turn, and that's why I'm checking his trash for 2Ks. So we're going to swing 9, just test the waters, and from the looks of it, that 2K and 1K was all the counter he had in hand. So if we went 10 and then we put the rest on Queen, we actually had game if that last life was not a trigger. But unfortunately, the best bet here is always to play it safe. You can never know what your opponent has in life. Also, in hand, with 7 cards in hand, there's a high probability that they were going to be able to beat our 2 swings. But we're going to heal 2 here, feel decently confident. Unfortunately, triggered a Pero, which is not good. But we do get that Brule from life there at the end. And with 2 swings remaining, he needs an Amaru right now to get rid of that. But unfortunately, he actually does. So we do have to get a trigger out of life after he triggers that Amaru. But unfortunately, we do not get one, and that is going to be the game. So rough matchup, but I think that was a great game and a really close game at that. I actually had game. I just did not want to risk it. And getting into our game 2 here, we're actually going to be going against Blue Doflamingo, which is a very interesting matchup and not one I think I really have ever played with Queen. So we're actually going to be going second. Unfortunately, we lost a dice roll again. I definitely would have chosen first in this matchup, as you can take Dofi off their curve while putting yourself on yours. He's going to try to just use a blind leader effect as he did not have an early Perona, and unfortunately get that Mihawk at the top. We're going to go ahead and choose to swing 6 here, and then just play that 3-cost Doflamingo, the best card to see early by far. Going to organize that top 5 as we see fit, and put it back and pass back to him on 5 Dawn. Going to think about what to play here after swinging 5. We'll counter out with Sanji, just trying to get cards out of hand, and he's actually going to play a 5-cost X-Drake here. Looking at his own top 5 and setting up his next turn. Very similar cards in these lists as you do want to set up those top 5. We're going to go ahead and choose 4 to use that Sobbles and send the X-Drake back to hand, so we don't have to deal with that 6K body when we swing 5 and 6 with our blocker and our leader. Putting down Doflamingo to 4 life now. Looks like he's going to actually choose to spend 3 to play that Doflamingo blocker. So probably going to try to set up that leader effect here. Looks like he's got a Boa Hancock at the top. Oh, actually, apologize. He forgot to draw this turn. So that is why he grabbed another one there. And he told me that, and I said it was completely fine if he went ahead and took that back. So a bit strange there, but he's going to go ahead and spend the 4 Dawn on that Moria. after that. So not a big deal, and we let him have that. I'm going to swing 5 at lead. He'll go ahead and take, and then we will play the 8-cost Katakuri, getting our 8-cost on board very early and getting rid of that 6k that we really just do not want to deal with. So Doflamingo now on 9 Dawn. Going to choose to play the 3-cost Doflamingo of his own once again. Looks like he saw a red rock in the top there, which is going to be a great card if we can draw it out and get rid of our Katakuri. But he's going to go ahead and do 5. Again, he already looked at the top, so he's not going to do that. And he'll just swing 6, giving us a chance to use an easy 2k. Now on 10 Dawn, we're going to go ahead and play Mihawk to bottom deck the X-Drake. And then we'll go ahead and go 5 to leader. Followed by another 5 to leader. This Doflamingo blocker has been swinging like crazy this game. He'll take that one, and then we'll go 8, and he will choose to block that one. So definitely a lot better of a board on our side at this moment in time. But obviously, there it is for 6 Dawn. I'm going to choose Red Rock to bottom deck that Mihawk and instantly change that. So he'll actually spend 2 to put our 3-cost back to hand, which is a bit annoying, especially in Queen when you really don't want that many cards in hand. So he's actually going to swing the rest at lead, and we're going to go ahead and give him a 2k and a 1k out. Now playing that 3-cost once again, so if we do end up using leader effect right now, we can actually know what we're putting to the top, which is really strong. And going to put that there and then spend another 3 on a boa blocker just to clear our hand of cards and get to 1 card in hand. So we're going to go ahead and swing 5 at lead. He'll give us the 1k Moria. We'll go 7, healing 1. And then we'll put the last on Katakuri going 9, and he will just give us that blocker. So again, 4 life on our side to his 2 life, one of them being known with that Moria. He's actually going to play that 10-cost Kaido, which is absolutely fantastic there. I don't know many situations that card is good in this meta, but that was definitely one of them. Really, really great time to play that card. So now on us on 10 Dawn again, we're going to go ahead and just swing 7. He'll actually counter out of that with the 2 and a 1, and then we will play Katakuri, putting our Boa Hancock to the top, just making it more time consuming to actually get rid of us. So he'll swing 5, we will play the Boa Hancock out, and instantly counter out of that 12 as he plays a 10-cost Kaido, which actually is not online, because we did choose the block with Boa, so that was really good for us. But 2 12Ks on board is definitely a problem. I'm not going to act like it's not. So definitely a bit scared of that, but let's go ahead and see how we deal with this turn. Going to just lay out our Dawn. I think we actually have a Red Rock in hand, or we might get one afterwards. But we're actually going to go 14 at the 12k and get rid of that, as he only has 2 cards in hand. And then we'll play the Brule, not wanting him to swing back into Katakuri. So if he wants to swing big, we just kind of get an easy block here. We'll go ahead and use the X-Drake, looking at the top 5 and setting up that leader effect most likely here. With 5 Dawn remaining, just going to choose to put 4 there, swing at Katakuri, playing the Moria out and grabbing a 2k. We'll give him a 2k for the 9k swing, and he'll swing 12 at Kata, and we'll just instantly give him that blocker. So now, in a bit of a strange situation, his board actually is a bit scary, and we cannot go for game this turn despite the low cards in hand, as he does have a blocker. So we're actually going to go ahead and get rid of that blocker with another Katakuri, and then swing 7 at the Moria, trying to clear his board best we can. And then we choose not to swing with the 8-cost Katakuri, as we do not want to lose it on the crackback with that 12-cost Kaido. We would much rather prefer that he swing into leader right now, which he does, and we're going to go ahead and take that to hand. And then he's actually going to play another 10-cost Kaido, drawing 4, which is actually really, really bad for us. All of a sudden, we're in a position where we only have 1 more life, less cards in hand, and not as great of a board. So this game definitely turned around a bit, and it's a bit scary for sure. So we're going to swing 8 at lead. He'll give us 2 2Ks there. With still 10 Dawn remaining, we definitely have a few plays this turn. Just trying to think what the best one is at the moment. We're going to go ahead and swing 10 again. Sorry, 8, I mean. He'll go ahead and take that, and then we'll play a Boa Hancock, swing 6 to heal 1, as we had 3 in life, 1 in hand. And then we'll choose to spend our remaining 6 to Red Rock the Kaido back to his deck. And now Doflamingo on Tendon once again. Going to be a little awkward here, as with the blocker it's not very easy to clear board, but he's going to go ahead and choose to Mihawk that blocker. And then swing 6 to lead with no cards in hand. That is going to be pretty hard to counter out of. Going to look at his trash here. As we know, he has 5 cards in hand, and he has been using a lot of 2Ks this game. So odds are we have lethal this turn, and I'm pretty sure we have to go for it. So we're going to put 3 on Kata, swing 11, rest on Queen, swing 12. That is going to be the game there. And getting into our final game of the day, we're going to be going against Green Uta, which honestly is not the best matchup ever, as they kind of can just swarm board, and swarming board against Queen is a bit of a problem, as we cannot really deal with multiple swings that well. But we're going to be going first this game, which is really good for us. Just showing the hand there, we actually have 3 Red Rocks in the opener, which is really, really bad, especially against this deck, because there's not a lot of great targets to use them on. So going to need a Kaya or something to cycle those out of hand for sure. And we actually have nothing on curve here, so we're going to swing 8, and he's going to choose to take. He'll swing 5, we'll give him a 1K, and then he will play the 3-cost Nami, searching out a 4-cost Brook, and passing back to us. Now on 5 Dawn, we're going to choose to swing 6 at leader. He'll take that one, going down to 3. And then we'll choose to 3,000 Worlds that Nami to the bottom of the deck, not wanting it to get any more draw off, because there are definitely some dangerous hand sizes that this deck can get. As you see there, Uta leader drawing another card as he deploys a Brook, followed by another Nami drawing once again. Going to tap that remaining Dawn to look at this top 3, and looks like he's going to choose... really thinking about this one, but he's going to choose to grab the Uta blocker there. So now back on us on 7 Dawn, I want to say. Best card here is probably something like an X-Drake. We're going to play 6 Dawn and just be kind of forced to get rid of this Red Rock out of hand, as we have no other option, because we really, really need to unbrick ourselves if we ever want to use our leader effect this game. So really inefficient turn for us, but unfortunately had to do it. He's going to swing 6 with Uta, searching the top there. We'll go ahead and take, and he's actually going to play a Luffy into Brook into Uta. Really, really big swarm that you really hate to deal with this leader. So we're going to play 8 for Katakuri, putting that Luffy to the bottom, and we'll go ahead and swing 6 at Brook. With a hand size that big, the odds you don't have a 2K are low, as yeah, he's going to counter out with the Chopper there. Very unfortunate, and still has a pretty decent board at this moment in time. So just going to swing 7, grab another Brook to hand, as if 2 was not already enough. We'll go ahead and give him double 2K. I think that was our only counter in hand at all. So in a not great spot here, he'll go ahead and swing 6, as we will get a Sobbles off life, putting the Brook back to hand, which is not the best trigger. I much would have rather seen another Red Rock trigger, or something like a Sanji, so I can get cards out of hand would have been nice as well. But unfortunately, not getting that. Sobbles is going to be all we have, but definitely not bad. Would have been better if you got it on a Luffy. And then he'll swing another 7 with that Uta blocker, and we'll actually get a Brule off of life, which is not bad at all. Now in this situation, we're definitely going to need to use leader effect if we can help it. But with these cards in hand, I really don't think there's a great way to do it. Debating what to do here. Definitely do not have the best plays in the world. So we're going to go ahead and go and drop Yamato, KOing the Uta. Unfortunately, have 4 cards in hand still. We could have healed 2 here, but we have too many combined. So definitely a problem there. So we're going to go ahead and swing a 9 into the Brook after swinging 5. With all those cards in hand, yeah, you're pretty much guaranteed to have a way to counter out of that. So going to counter out of that and go for game this next turn. If you have a way to rest Brule, it's pretty much wraps. Yeah, and there's the rest on Brule. As you see, we still have 2 red rocks in hand, so those things just sat in hand, clogged up hand, and really ruined this game for us. Reason why you may not run as many as I do, because he's going to go 6, 5, do the I'm going to be king of the pirates, buff his Uta by 3k, go 10k, and yeah, he had a double swing card, so there was no living that. And that is going to be the video, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate when people watch these videos till the end. And if you have not subscribed by now, I would greatly appreciate it if you did so. We are getting very close to 5,000 subs. And if you do not know, we are doing a 5-box giveaway at 5,000 subscribers. This will be 5 boxes of OP06. Going out to 5 lucky winners. So really looking forward to that, and really would love to hit 5,000 subscribers before OP06 comes out. But anyways, as far as Queen goes, guys, I think his OP05 iteration was pretty weak. Did not love him this set. I think the only new cards he got were X-Drake, and which was great. X-Drake's a fantastic card. Definitely need a card in Queen. And then John Giant. John Giant's more of a kind of a fun card. I think some Queens don't even run him, but I do enjoy him. Didn't get to play him in any games today, but Queen as a deck was definitely one of my favorite decks I ever got into. And as I've said multiple times in this video by now, really looking forward to him in OP06. So if you guys are looking forward to OP06 and you do want to see OP06 Queen, do like the video and get ready for more, because I am really ready to dive into this guy next set. But not an amazing games today, but definitely had a lot of fun. But anyways, I hope you guys have a great day. I'm gonna head out of here. Peace.